Growing up in the 90s, there was a TV show that everyone in my class was absolutely obsessed with. And it wasn't new. We were the rerun generation that fell in love with Thunderbirds.
5,
And now,
4,
the Thunderbirds are relaunching.
2,
And trust me,
1.
they're going to blow you away.
Thunderbirds are go.
I'm Reggie Yates, and I'm a lifelong Thunderbirds fan.
What's up?
Over the next hour, I'm going to share with you the worldwide adventure I've been enjoying for the past year.
Yes, let's do this!
Because I've got exclusive behind-the-scenes access to watch one of our most loved TV shows being sensationally brought back to life.
Take one. Boom.
I'm getting hands-on at the world-famous film studios in New Zealand, where the all-new Thunderbirds is secretly being made.
Oh, my mate's gonna be so jealous.
I'll be discovering how these famous characters and their cool vehicles are being revamped for a new 21st century audience. While back in London, I'll join the all-star cast behind the new series.
How are you? Lovely to see you.
Completely has you at the edge of your seat.
It's so cool.
And if things go to plan, I might even bag myself apart.
Just out of the blue.
In the all-new Thunderbirds Are Go. So how did the incredible story of Thunderbirds begin? To find out, we need to go back to the future.
A long time ago.
Made in 1965 but set in 2065, Thunderbirds followed international rescue.
Please give me information about your organization.
It was headed by billionaire ex-astronaut Jeff Tracy,
Concentrate on what I'm going to say.
whose 5 pilot sons used the coolest gadgets and vehicles to launch rescue missions from their top-secret base, the now famous Tracy Island.
Now we can go ahead and really make this something to remember.
The series was created by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson.
Couldn't be anyone else.
The husband and wife team combined electronic hand-controlled puppets, intricate model sets, and ambitious special effects to create a huge cinematic feel.
Action!
It was an instant TV success
This is a special program.
that has enthralled every generation since.
I like it.
But 50 years on, there's a new team making a brand new version. And they've invited me down to a London recording studio where some of the star cast are preparing to breathe new life into international rescue. They include ex-Bond girl, now Gone girl, Hollywood star Rosamund Pike as the aristocratic Lady Penelope.
How lovely to see you.
The 5 Tracy brothers are split between Game of Thrones' Thomas Brodie Sangster, who plays astronaut John Tracy,
Just retract the space elevator, please, EOS.
actor Rasmus Hardiker is the man behind pilots Scott and Alan.
Extending tri-grapple.
Voice specialist David Menken looks after Aquanaut Gordon, and the big guy, Virgil.
Great idea.
And Four Lions and Phone Jacker star Kay Van Novak is Hiram K. Hackenbacker, otherwise known as Inventor Brains.
You have to approach the station from below and pull it downward.
Now, the brilliant thing about today is that they're genuinely letting me get stuck in and get my hands dirty. What that is exactly, I'm about to find out. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Richie.
Hey, how's it all going? Hey, good morning.
I'm Giles.
Hey,
nice
Giles,
to meet
good to
you.
see you.
This is Estelle.
Hello, Estelle.
This is an observational documentary. Mustn't actually acknowledge the camera. Where is your camera?
Good morning, I'm Reg. How you doing? Good to see you.
You're right. Hey, mate. How are you?
We're basically invading your record today, so hopefully you won't mind us getting in the way and me jumping in the booth and interrupting you.
Jump in, man.
Is this an exciting prospect, being in there recording a couple of episodes?
I've wet myself twice already.
We'll let you get in. Nice to meet you. This is a bit flash.
Don't get too comfortable.
Oh, well, fair enough.
So I'm going to take over for you. Just go hand in the script. And then what you do is you run to the first page to see how many lines you've got. And you usually start at the bottom because you're like, oh, maybe I've got 3 lines today. But of course I've got 40. Can we get on with our vocal exercises, Dave?
Yeah. Everybody do their knees.
Wow.
These voiceover sessions are stage 1 in production, which means they are completed before any visuals are created. So there's no video guide to help steer the cast's performance. The Tracy brothers are flying blind today.
There may be someone who can save them.
But what's making my head spin is that many of the cast have multiple roles.
That is impossible.
Sometimes 2 brothers by 1 artist in the same breath.
Whoa! I lost my number 2 engine! Alan, you're rolling like a log. I've got to try again.
How does it work for you having to do more than the one voice when it comes to an episode?
It's great. It's so much fun. The funny thing is, like, you try and pitch it differently. So Scott's kind of a lot lower, and when we first started it, it was, hey, I'm Scott, and so you've got to try and bring it into the middle. But it's so much fun doing more than one.
You've got that every single episode.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. For some reason, they like to put Virgil and Gordon together.
We're not just giving up. Who are you saying is giving up? Since when did you call the shots?
The man driving all of these performances is voice director Dave Peacock.
And then put Scott a little bit of distance away from John on 9.
And Dave is just about to make a dream come true.
Reggie, as you're here, you play guards 2.
I get a role.
You get a role.
I get guard 2, come on.
Guard 2, man.
Okay, so henchman style guard number 2.
Yes,
Bit
you're
of
from
bass.
London.
Right.
So if you can do your London accent, that'll be lovely. Is that
It's a
stretch for
bit
you?
of a stretch for me, a London accent. No, not a
And,
problem. Brilliant.
Cool, let's get you through.
Yep, you heard it right. I've got actual lines to record for the new Thunderbirds series. The visuals for this scene won't be complete for another 10 months. So I only have my script and K-Van to inspire me.
This side of the session, how does it work then? What are we looking out for? What are we doing here, guys? I need you to talk me through this.
Well, the first thing you kind of look out for is bad breath. Then you just do exactly what that man tells you to do.
Okay.
Whatever character you have in your head for it, just go for it, and then
Yep.
we'll move you around if need be. And we're rolling on take one.
You read someone showed up out front earlier asking for a file.
Just out of the blue. It's not even the first Thursday of the month.
Yeah, sorry.
Now I know what you're thinking, but this is harder than it might look. Or sound.
Do this. Yeah. You wish someone showed up out front earlier asking for a file.
Just out of the blue. It's not even the first Thursday of the month.
I know. They don't even have the proper forms. Some people.
Good.
I'm not saying I absolutely smashed it, but director Dave has now decided I'm going to have lines in another scene.
Okay.
I just hope I don't get all starstruck and tongue-tied. Because I've heard the legendary David Graham has just arrived.
Hello. How are you?
David played my favourite character in the original series, Parker.
You called, milady?
Lady Penelope's rough diamond butler and chauffeur. And half a century later, David is returning to play Parker in the new series.
Just like old times.
Was you surprised when you got the call this time around?
Well, I was. I just jumped at the chance. It was just amazing. I never thought it would happen.
What is it about that character that makes people love him so much?
Well, he's endearing. He's a bit of a villain. And they seem to like the voice. And the voice is based on a waiter at a pub in Cookham where Jerry took me when he was planning the series. And he said, I'd like you to hear this wine waiter. And he called him over and he said, would you like to see the wine dish, sir? And Parker was born.
I can't believe it. I'm about to star in a scene with the main man himself, David Graham, the voice of Parker.
So he's one of us then, milady?
One of the most popular characters in the history of children's TV.
Can we help you, sir?
Sorry, Master John, but I appear to have hit a slight snag.
Lovely. Slow it down a tad and just loom over a little bit more on your...
Sure.
Can we help you, sir?
Sorry, Master John, but I appear to have hit slight snag.
Good, lovely. Cool, great, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right. Nice job.
Left me well behind there.
I don't know about that. Awesome. I guess that's. Is it good? It's good.
Is that a wrap on Reg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
all right.
man.
You're trying to get me out of here.
Yeah,
quickly.
good job.
Good. Okay.
Have you got more lines?
I don't think so. No. I think they're smarter than that. It's official. I'm in Thunderbirds. How did that happen? Just recorded with Parker and Caitlin. It's amazing. Properly chuffed with that. Got myself in an episode. And it was more than just the one line. 2 scenes. No big deal.
And coming up next, I bag exclusive access to the secret Thunderbirds film set in New Zealand.
I'm kind of scared as to what I'm supposed to be able to touch, what I'm not allowed to touch, but no one's looking, so why not?
And check out the new Tracy Island.
But for the time being, you can all relax.
Thunderbirds was an instant British TV classic when it was first screened in the 60s, with over 30 episodes that will be shown all over the world.
This is magnificent.
Now, exactly half a century on, a new series is being made.
Are those kids gonna be surprised?
And I've got exclusive access to the whole shebang. I've even bagged myself a part in the new series.
Can we help you, sir?
I wish I had my own Thunderbird because I'm now making an 11,000-mile, 30-hour-long trip to Wellington, New Zealand. Home of the world-renowned Weta Workshop and Pukiko Pictures. This is where Hollywood comes for top-end special effects and set design. Blockbusters like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were made here. And now, the all-new Thunderbirds is their focus of attention.
So I made my way into the home of Weta Workshop. They knew we were coming. How you doing, mate? They normally don't just let people walk in like this. But as you can see, it is pretty much littered with every fanboy's dreams. All over the wall, there's models and all sorts. And just behind this door is the man you've come to meet.
Founder, creative director, and head of Weta Workshops, Sir Richard Taylor.
This is possibly the coolest desk I think I've ever seen.
I dreamed of being surrounded by models as a kid, and now I've almost got it to breaking point.
I also dreamed of being surrounded by models, but a very different kind.
And the inspiration for Richard's stellar success is unavoidable. Original series Thunderbird models are all over the shop.
What is it about Thunderbirds that is so special?
A lot of the DNA of our company comes from my love of that show. So to come full circle and actually be working on the very show that inspired us so much is amazing.
I've got so much that I want to ask you, but I also am desperate to see more of the workshop. So could you show me around?
Very good. Let's go and have a look around,
please.
I'm a lifelong Thunderbird fan and a movie fanatic, so a personal tour of Weta with Sir Richard Taylor is as good as it gets. Smaug from The Hobbit? Check.
I love the fact that you're just quickly walking past the most exciting bit.
Yeah, well,
because that's unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll just skip past that, actually, if that's all right.
Yeah, why make a big deal about the 5 Oscars and 4 BAFTAs, eh, Richard?
Are we just going to ignore the crocodile on the ceiling?
There's stuff in here from movies that haven't even been made yet.
We'd love you to come in and see more, but there are tons of things you're not actually allowed to see.
No, just around the corner.
Just around the corner.
Secrets.
I can see them, and it's kind of exciting.
Peter Jackson's Middle-earth props are everywhere.
So this is our weapons wall. We've made 20,000 bladed weapons.
This room is where your Gandalf, Bilbos and Orcs get measured up for their latex mouldings and makeup.
That's a hobbit foot.
That's incredible. Look at the hairs and the wobble on that. Oh, hey. God. Every single angle I stare at, I see something that I recognise. That's District 9, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. One of my favourite sci-fi movies. This is amazing. Look at this. If anything goes missing, it's got absolutely nothing to do with me.
Of course.
Oh, my mates are going to be so jealous.
Now for why I've really travelled to the other side of the planet. I've been cleared to go onto the studio floor to get a glimpse of what millions are desperate to see. This is a working film set for the new Thunderbirds Are Go.
It is a very surreal experience being this close to the set. You've got a whole team of people making it happen and making it look real. It's both brilliant and also really wrong. I can see that that's just a bit of sprayed foam. It's wrong, but right all at the same time. Now these are just some of the bits of set that you might spot at different times. I'm kind of scared as to what I'm supposed to be able to touch, what I'm not allowed to touch, but no one's looking, so why not? So all right, we've got a sort of nondescript box. That's an exclusive. We've got a... Oh, they're rolling. It's okay, we can talk. Look at that. You might see that at some point during the series. Try and log it in your memory that my stupid face has had a good old grip of it.
It's obvious that the new production team is really embracing the DIY methods invented by creator Jerry Anderson in the 1960s. The original series broke new ground in special effects design. If a device or technique didn't exist, they simply invented one. The visionary this time around is series director David Scott.
I heard that there's some of the things that we used on the original set dotted throughout some of this,
Oh, yes,
this
yeah.
newfangled version.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the original series was a pioneer of a technique called kit bashing, where in order to meet the schedules of the original series, they basically grabbed lots of different parts from plastic model kits and found objects from around the home.
Now, I never noticed it as a kid, but during every launch of Thunderbird 1, check this out. It's a spray-painted lemon squeezer literally stuck onto the set. Fast forward 50 years, and the Thunderbird 1 launch sequence might look a bit more advanced, but guess what David has gone and done as his own tribute?
For that, we went out and found our own lemon squeezer and put it right there. Every now and again you'll find household objects where these guys will look for really great shapes and then go, oh, we can build something around that. Like you'll find buildings that are made out of CD towers and washing machine parts and vacuum cleaner parts.
That's incredible.
Things like that, yeah.
The biggest challenge faced by the new team was reimagining and rebuilding the most famous fantasy island in the history of television, Tracy Island, the secret base of international rescue. Now check out the 2015 version.
Tracy Island's been very, very interesting. Felt like it shouldn't be like a holiday destination, you know? It's not like, oh, I've arrived here, I'm just going to relax. They'd have to do their training on that island, you know? Yeah. So it's very rugged and it's very, you know, this place is very rocky, very exposed.
As a kid, Tracy Island held a special place in my heart. And I dreamt of visiting the remote South Pacific island and hanging out in that super cool pad.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I'm delighted to see the new production has stayed faithful to the original design. But as you may have spotted by now, there's something very, very different about Thunderbirds Are Go 2015.
Lounge doors open.
The sets may look the same, but this time, there's no strings attached. There's not a puppet in sight. Because this time around, the famous vehicles and characters are being brought to life by cutting-edge computer-generated graphics. And it's this blend of gorgeous handmade sets and CGI that's taking things to a new level. The man given the task of upgrading these classics is conceptual designer Christian Pierce.
Is there a bit of a pressure knowing that there are some super fans all over the world?
Massive pressure.
Itching to see what you've done.
Even
with
within this building, there's people, what are you doing?
But check out Christian's revamped designs. I think it's fair to say he's stepping up to the plate in some style.
What was the thing you were most excited about coming into this project then?
Getting to work on Thunderbird 1 was a real treat. This was the very first vehicle we worked on, and it was mainly about, you know, just being respectful to the original design and just trying to not stuff it up, really.
Looking good.
Lady Penelope's car is something that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
That is something I'm desperate to see how close it is to the original. So, have you veered away much at all?
We did some which went quite a long way away.
How many do you think you actually did?
Oh, over 100, I think.
Over 100 designs?
Yeah.
Wow. The new FAB1. Revamped, yes, but still in classic pink. Six-wheeled and loaded with more gadgets than a fleet of Bond cars. And expertly driven by Parker for International Rescue's London-based undercover agent, Lady Penelope Crichton-Ward.
Call me Penelope.
In the original series, Lady P was proof you can have a crush on a puppet. She was devised by series co-creator Sylvia Anderson, who also provided that sassy, classy, iconic voice.
I'll take that as a most gracious compliment. My husband and I used to do all the main scripts and everything, but the characters were mine. So I thought, let's have something different here. So I created Penelope, mostly because I wanted to get away from the typical women characters, the beautiful people that walking 3 paces behind the hero.
This time around, Lady Penelope is being played by Hollywood star Rosamund Pike.
You know, she's got to feel modern. That's the big thing. She can't be a girl from the 60s. She's got to be a girl of now. I've taken more inspiration probably from actresses, models, people in the sort of social scene of now than I have from the original series.
The original Lady P certainly loved her threads. She never seemed to wear the same outfit twice. And these early designs give a good idea of where the new Penelope look is heading. All of them the handiwork of designer Rebecca Tisch.
Just looking at your screen, it would appear that Lady Penelope has essentially become your responsibility.
I would like to say that. We decided that we needed to update her look quite significantly. Obviously, she was a product of her era. So while we've stuck with a few more conservative looks, we decided to try doing something a bit more outrageous.
Have any of your hairstyles or wardrobe found their way onto Penelope? That face says
Definitely, yes. Yeah. We did a few long, stylish hairdos, and I definitely did a couple of things that I would wear myself. Something you can't help but be influenced by when you're surrounded by how do I go about presenting myself, and how do I, think that a woman should look, and you can't help but sort of project that onto your character.
50 years on, and Lady P is still as glamorous as ever.
But I can hold my own against international gangsters. I can certainly handle a royal premiere.
How does she do it? Even in glorious HD, there's not a line in sight.
How kind.
Coming up next, at last, it's my chance to get hands on and hands up.
Action!
And one of the most popular TV theme tunes of all time gets an epic update.
What we were really keen to do was make it feel absolutely of now. Hopefully we've succeeded.
I'm Reggie Yates, and I'm a huge fan of the classic TV show Thunderbirds.
Now listen, everyone.
I'm in New Zealand, where they're mixing intricate sets with out there CGI to create a brand new look for a new century.
Well, this should be fun.
One of today's scenes also involves a tricky bit of old-school puppeteering. It all looks a bit tense, but I'm hoping art director Ben Milsom will show me the ropes and get me involved.
So can you tell me a little bit, Ben, about what we're stood behind and what it is you're planning to do with it?
All right, we are currently standing behind the Hood's ship. The Hood is the bad guy. The bad guy, who always seems to do bad guy stuff in every episode, and he needs to get around. So this is his mode of transport.
Just like in the original 1960s series, the Hood is the nemesis of International Rescue, hell-bent on stealing and exploiting cutting-edge technology for his own gain.
If only I knew their secrets.
The new Hood is still a dirty rat, and this time he's got himself a big, dirty ship.
we wanted him to give him a bit more of an old V8 sort of look that sort of pups along in the sky.
That's great.
And not particularly environmentally friendly, you know, he's one of those kind of guys.
Well, you say that, but you guys have been incredibly green in terms of recycling, because
Yes.
I've been told all day about the use of things that you can find everywhere here
Yes.
on Thunderbirds. Now,
Yep.
this is that a washing machine?
That is a washing machine, that's
Amazing.
right. Yep.
Amazing, and I recognise that because I've got one of those at home.
Yep.
That's from a Hoover, right?
Yep. You couldn't actually build a better thruster than that, you know, so it saves us a lot of work and it looks great.
So what are you planning to do with this big old baby?
Okay, well, today we're puppeteering this, or should I say you're going to be puppeteering this.
Brilliant.
Start sort of slow, and then as you get further down, go a little bit quicker. So it's
Oh,
like
I
it's
see.
starting slowly.
Yeah.
So give that a go.
That's great. So after literally a whole minute's worth of training, I'm now being asked to puppeteer on Thunderbirds. And it's me and 5 other guys who've been doing this for ages. So 10 guesses who the weakest link's going to be. No pressure.
Hey, Jack, just have that on, point it up, and then point it down onto the shape.
That's a go now.
I've got to get it in one more. Thanks.
I'll try not to break it.
Ready?
Yeah, man.
And 3, 2, 1, action!
Okay, so I just think...
Is that good?
We
Is that all right?
Anyway.
Whatever, no big deal. Got it in one.
So that's the hard work done. Now, time to check out my handiwork.
Could you whack that on screen for us, please? Have a little peek. Thank you. You ready to be blown away by my amazing work here?
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Remember, this is just the raw footage without all the bells and whistles. But once the shots get the full treatment, boy, does it rock. Back in 1965, they were puppeteering in a very similar way. In fact, the original series is inspiring every facet of the all-new Thunderbirds production. If you look closely, just like in the original series, the skins of the new CGI characters have an eggshell-like quality. And that's no coincidence, as 3D modeling man Sven Trotter explains.
We've made sure that we had high-res photos of the original maquettes.
Yeah.
And we used those as reference for our textures.
Because it actually looks like they've been sprayed.
Well, we basically try to emulate the materials that they used. So if they were using silicone or ceramics, we basically try to emulate those materials and the way they finished them.
To completely get my head around how these complex CGI characters and vehicles will interact with the model sets, I've been asked to get involved in one of the biggest setups, a reconstruction of a famous London landmark.
I think I've only just taken in the job that I've actually taken on. This set's huge.
Thank you.
This is the National Portrait Gallery. Look at it. This is where I drop it, can you imagine? Got a teeny little phone box, so let's get my street connected. Boom. There you go.
So that's the model set laid out to perfection. Now, what has art director Ben Milsom got planned for my newly built Trafalgar Square?
Right, well, this particular sequence, Thunderbird 2 basically loses power. He crash lands down Trafalgar Square.
So when the sequence is all done, how much of this will be CG versus what you're actually going to shoot here?
Other than Thunderbird crashing for that sequence, this will all be in camera.
But before the guys film anything, they need to know precisely what happens in the scene. So step one of this process is something called a pre-visualization, or previs, which is a very basic animated storyboard that shows the film crew where to position the camera on set. The shots on the previs are filmed, and details such as Nelson's hat, cars, and other objects are puppeteered. Then it's over to the computer wizards to blast in layers of CGI with added light and color. The end result, breathtaking. And just like in the original series, it all combines to create a grand cinematic feel. My time in New Zealand is almost over, But there's one final surprise for me. I've just heard that one of the sets being prepped for filming is the one that will eventually feature my character. Yep, you remember my big moment, don't you?
Can we help you, sir?
So I've convinced director of photography Simon Godzif to give me a peek at the miniature film set in which my character gets to do his stuff.
I've got every right to be really excited about this set in particular,
Yeah,
because all of my 2 lines are going to actually happen in this room. Is that correct?
Well, it's actually in the room out from this.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So your character is positioned in the centre of the vault, walking on a bit of CG gantry. So we're going to arrange the camera to kind of cheat the walkway. We can't obviously create the vault in scale because that would be as big as the shoot stage. So we've positioned this office within a zone to get a kind of a forced perspective, and they look out over the vault. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a kind of a bit of a cheat.
Well, the thing that I've loved most about being here is seeing that blend between miniatures and CGI characters, because they're not really going to be here, but they're going to be sitting on things, touching things.
That's right, yeah. So they walk in the door.
Yeah.
We puppeteer the door open. There's someone standing behind the desk, and so they kind of move about the room.
My time in New Zealand has been a real eye-opener.
Can somebody please get me a tea and a wet flannel, because I just need I need something to comfort me. My mind's blown.
It's looking like International Rescue's internationally produced reboot could be just as standout as the original.
Great job, everyone.
Now it's time for me to return to London, where all the different elements of the production are being brought together, including a full-blown revamp of the timeless classic that is the famous Thunderbird theme tune.
Music's crucial to any series, but I think to Thunderbirds, I'll go, it's even more crucial, because everybody knows that theme tune from the original, from the moment that countdown starts.
The task of re-recording the unforgettable opening salvo to Thunderbirds lies on the shoulders of award-winning composer brothers Nick and Ben Foster.
Well, the Thunderbirds theme has always been about this really big, grandiose brass march sound that Barry Gray had in the original theme, so we haven't abandoned that at all. We've made it a little bit more dramatic, a bit more modern.
I think what we're going to be able to do here is give it the scale that we really want to do, and it's fantastic to be able to do that because I think it makes a massive difference, a huge difference. It's actually quite a difficult thing to recreate music that people love and people know. And what we were really keen to do was to keep as much as we could of the magic of the original, give it a modern spin, make it feel fresh, make it feel absolutely of now.
The all-new Thunderbirds is about to hit our screens exactly half a century after the original made its TV debut.
High five, Max! Ow!
I've been allowed exclusive access to the groundbreaking international production.
Look at this, this is fantastic.
I've even managed to become part of TV history by bagging a role.
Just out of the blue.
And almost a year after recording my voice, I've been told my character is now ready to be seen as well as heard.
So, this is it. After years of work, this is where it all comes together. This is where the CGI meets all the live action stuff that I got to see firsthand. And this might sound a little bit weird and incredibly vain, but this is the moment where I get to check out me. I get to see my CGI facelift. Let's just hope that they've made me look younger.
It's some sort of computer-generated fake.
So, Will, it feels a little bit wrong of me to be speaking this loud in this really quiet and focused room. This is where everything essentially comes together, isn't it?
That's correct. We're taking data and elements that have been created around the world. So it's a very complex show to put it together.
OK, I'd like to pretend that I've not just been massively distracted by something happening just to my left, but it's hard to ignore this. Is that my character? Is that the character that I've done?
Yeah.
That's awesome. OK, so my character name, I believe, on the show is Ellis. I think that's the character that I voiced. A bit of a slow security guard, right, being mean to Parker in this sequence. How was it working on my ugly mug?
Yeah, well, I mean, it took a little while.
Oh, no!
My character's not quite walking and talking yet, but wow, it's just sunk in. I'm definitely going to be in Thunderbirds. And I'm loving Ellis's chiseled looks. Look at him.
So are you responsible for my cheekbones?
No, we're mainly concerned about getting the CG to look like miniatures, so there's not too much we can do about bone structure, but we tried to sort of accentuate the highlights and get you looking as handsome as possible.
He has friendly eyes.
That was us.
Good.
It's not just the animation of Thunderbirds Our Go that's going to be out of this world.
It's gotten smart, and I mean really smart.
The sound's going to blow audiences away too. And the man behind the mix is Thunderbirds superfan Nigel Heath, who has gone to some extreme lengths to create some very unusual sounds for the new series.
You grew up loving the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Had all the toys.
And the show has a lot to do with the name of the studio, correct?
Hackenbacker Studios, yeah, named after Brains.
Hello? Hackenbacker speaking.
You must have been over the moon when you got the gig, right?
Yeah, I couldn't talk. I was so excited, and I'm so proud. So proud to be a small cog in this amazing machine that's Thunderbirds.
Now, when I said Nigel is going to extreme lengths to create unusual sounds, well, I'll get the man himself to try and explain.
There's a lot of organic ingredients in the soundtrack, and I think it works really, really well with the pictures. There's a hot water bottle being wobbled around for something to do with Thunderbird 4. There's an egg whisk, coffee grinder. There's broken air conditioning units that we rip the guts out of. A really interesting use of a set of rubber gloves.
It's so great to hear you talk about the part that you've played in this. I mean, what you do is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic, in fact, and you're teasing me. Can I hear it now?
You want to start the mix?
Yes, please.
I think it's that green one there.
This one?
Yep.
OK, what do I do? Just push it down?
Yeah, go on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
And believe me, that huge Thunderbird 2 sound didn't just happen overnight. Well, actually it did.
So Thunderbird 2 has a very distinctive sound that has a real nod to the original series. I stayed awake for 2 nights trying to figure out the best way to revamp it. And then one morning I came in, the cleaner was here.
No way, that's
and I heard
fantastic.
Thunderbird 2 coming up from the stairwell and had a little idea to put some vacuum cleaner sounds together alongside the jet stuff that we'd already built. And it just gave me goosebumps. I'll never forget the moment when Thunderbird 2 started coming out of our loudspeakers.
As Nigel's not quite finished those Thunderbird 2 sound effects, and as the cleaner's gone home, he's managed to find another sucker to help him. Yep, yours truly.
I'm going to press play.
Okay.
If you can manoeuvre, when you switch that vacuum cleaner on,
Yes.
just manoeuvre your hands over that vent that's right by the microphone.
Right.
Yeah, and kind of shape the way the air is moving around that vent.
OK, basically, you've got me playing harmonica with a hoover here.
Basically.
Right, got it. OK.
All
Are you
right.
ready?
I'm ready. You ready? Here we go.
Thank you.
Hey!
See, that's how you record sound, kids. Love that.
You cleaned up.
My behind-the-scenes Thunderbirds adventure has been a blast. I can't wait to see the episode that I'll be appearing in.
Oh, this weight is killing me.
First, though, the producers of the new series have invited me down to the recording of a very, very special episode that's been penned by another big Thunderbirds fan, comedy genius and writer David Baddiel. And there's a real treat in store for fans of the original series.
I had this idea that Lady Penelope might be visited by her great aunt, and there was a possibility of Sylvia Anderson being around and might be up for playing that. And obviously she was the original Lady Penelope.
I was brought the script, and they said it's a bit of fun. And when I saw the writer, I knew it was going to be a good bit of fun. So I sat down and read it, which is very strange because I'm now reading it as the great aunt.
Sylvia's momentous return to Thunderbirds 50 years after giving a voice to the original Lady Penelope is enough to make even Hollywood stars a little nervous.
I'm doing a whole episode with Sylvia Anderson, so is she going to be sitting there next to me thinking, that doesn't sound anything like Lady Penelope, that's not how she should say that.
Now, who in their right mind is going to turn down a chance to meet two Lady Ps?
I'm pretty sure that there are Thunderbirds fans all over the world that are pretty excited about seeing two incarnations of a really well-loved character, Lady Penelope, side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Not against each other, but with each other.
On the same team.
Is that nice?
Yes.
What's it like for you, Rosamund, being with Sylvia and being able to talk to her about a character that you are about to take on?
Well, I'm about to start talking to her. We've only
got
just
around
met.
to this.
Actually. We haven't got around to this yet. But I did just begin because I wanted to. I wanted to ask Sylvia if she ever imagined that anybody else would ever play Lady.
Never. I didn't think anyone was good enough to do that. And then I got older, and then I thought, yes, maybe they should.
Try not to touch you loudly because it's essentially all happening right now. They're about to literally start rehearsing and recording the episode with Sylvia and Rosamund. And David over here has written the episode and he's pretending to look really busy.
Great Aunt Sylvia.
Can't actually see his.
How lovely to see you.
Just
How
been
are
doodling
you?
on his script.
How's Uncle Langley?
And how are you?
Yes, all good. So, let's talk tea, shall we?
It's been such a privilege watching the new Thunderbirds come to life, and this is my standout moment. Seeing the original and latest Lady Penelope alongside returning legend David Graham, recording Parker again 50 years after he first made the part his own.
Milady?
Home, Parker.
Home, Parker.
My Thunderbirds journey is almost complete. This is the moment I've been thinking about since I laid down the voice of my character 10 months ago. My episode, Space Race, is at last complete.
Finally, I get to see the episode. So, can someone press play, please? I think I'm just about ready.
5, 4.
This is my first look at a fully completed episode.
1.
Wow. That CGI mix just messes with your mind, doesn't it? It's hard to tell what's really there and what isn't. Look at that.
Thunderbirds are go.
So what's the score with this thing, Brains?
Look at that, though. That's mad. I remember seeing that set. In fact, I think I took a picture in that set. It's huge. Well, I say huge, it's about as big as me. They've got little CG guys walking around it. That's awesome. Oh, look at this. Look who it is. It's Ellis, the security guard. There he is.
You wish someone showed up out front earlier asking for a file? Just out of the blue? It's not the first Thursday of the month. I know. They didn't even have the proper forms. Some people.
Can you hear that line delivery? Can you hear that? Quality.
Can we help you, sir?
That's so random. Can't believe I'm with Thunderbirds. Come on. Being in something like the voiceover and seeing all the actors doing what they do and following the process right the way through to this, it's unbelievable seeing it all come together because I wasn't expecting anything as slick as this. I mean, this is for telly. This feels like a movie. It's great.
I've got a slightly different perspective now.
This has been one epic odyssey. I've had the privilege of watching world-class talent do their stuff. Combining their expertise and creative brilliance to make sure this new Thunderbirds series pays its respects to what has come before blasting it firmly into the 21st century.
Build a rocket boys. Build a rocket boys. Build a rocket boys.
Now, as a lifelong fan, I can say that this is so special, and I can officially say on your behalf and mine that Thunderbirds are go again.